But in terms of what's happening today here, so Her Majesty's coffin is being transported a little bit later on today at 2:22 precisely in a gun carriage with members of the royal family walking behind the procession from Buckingham Palace, round the Queen's Gardens and then down the Mall of between here and kind of the Horse Guards area. So crowds have been waiting here actually for a really, really long time, despite the cold, despite the threat of rain. So I think that just shows how keen people are to get a glimpse of Her Majesty the Queen's coffin. When it gets to the Mall, it will come to Horse Guards, and that's where you'll be familiar, or Her Majesty was very familiar for trooping the colour celebrations. She receives royal salutes there and inspected troops of the household division. And then underneath Horse Guards Arch, as Rafe was mentioning, they're very famous for Princess Diana's funeral and Prince Harry perhaps being comforted under the arch, out of view of the cameras. And then it will go kind of down Whitehall past the Cenotaph, again something Her Majesty would have been very familiar with. She laid wreaths there on several occasions on Remembrance Sunday, and then in recent years the then Prince Charles, now King Charles, laid the wreath on Her Majesty's behalf, and then it will then come down towards Parliament Street and Parliament Square, where crowds have been gathering since very early this morning. I was walking past there at about, 7 o'clock in the morning, and the crowds were already kind of 2 people deep, and I'm sure by now, 3 or 4 hours later, there's even more people there. And then of course they get this magnificent view of the Elizabeth Tower housing Big Ben before it eventually arrives at Westminster Hall, where Her Majesty's coffin will be put into the centre of the hall on what's called a catafalque, kind of a raised platform, and that's where a very short service is going to be happening, attended by members of the royal family, conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Dean of Westminster, for Her Majesty's handover, if you like, from the family to the state, for members of the public to pay their respects personally to Her Majesty for when she lies in state.